Looking back, the road towards mastering the art of oral presentation. Throughout this course, I have made significant strides in regards to improving as well as expanding my oral presentation skills. According to Bob Grove in The Art of Communication, communication plans are all to do with audience, content, and timing. Beforehand, I found myself off to a slow start, unable to even face the thought of an upcoming oral presentation. When I found myself obligated to speak, my words seemed to do nothing more than drag along. All those listening quickly lost interest, as my presentations always favored taking the long road. In between every one of my points, I found myself facing an enormous stop sign. Furthermore, before even having to speak, I would find myself purposely placing obstacles in order to prolong the inevitable. This class has helped me place all of my prior worries and pitfalls in the rearview mirror. I now know how to better prepare and deliver oral presentations in a more clear and cohesive manner. The thought of an oral presentation used to make me want to hide and crawl into a corner. I was terrified to speak in front of people and allow myself to be subjected to their opinions. Whenever possible, I would attempt to prolong and occasionally skip having to give any kind of oral presentation. While my nerves were at ease, my grades suffered, opening a door to an entirely different downfall. I was unable to maintain my desired grade, and my social skills similarly suffered. This class, however, has allowed me to embrace the thought of an upcoming presentation. I realized the power of vocalizing my opinions rather than simply writing or typing them. I am able to use my voice to express my emotions and sincerity. When replying to classmates, I am able to express interest in discussing topics. I no longer sound one-note and uninterested in my replies. I use tone and pace in order to express my desire to interact and exchange ideas. I no longer avoid oral presentations, but rather embrace them wholeheartedly. My grades and communication skills no longer suffer as a result of my fear. Beforehand, when I was forced to give an oral presentation, I found myself saying more than focusing on the actual topic at hand. Every time my nerves got the better of me, I froze and would say the only thing that would come to my mind. Aside from the excessive use of uhs and ums, my presentations suffered from frequent and at times excessive long pauses. These pauses not only added to my nervousness, but also seemed to act as moments in which I would forget the information I had intended to convey. As a result, I would repeat prior information, unable to successfully get my intended point across. I now know to adequately prepare and practice for my presentations in order to ease my nerves. I am able to use both my fellow students and my time to the fullest. I only cover the topics I had intended, and I do not waste time on unnecessary ideas. I no longer say or find myself taking long pauses in order to remember what I was supposed to cover. I only convey points once, and am therefore able to maintain my audience's attention. Adding to my numerous prior grievances was the fact that aside from repeating information, I would also include excess information into all of my presentations. Facts that were even remotely relevant would find themselves included in my overall point. In addition, I would drag out each and every one of the minor points I had intended to get across. I would spend 3 minutes on a point that only required one. I would include unnecessary examples to clarify pieces of information that were already crystal clear. Now when I give an oral presentation, I only include information directly relevant to the topic at hand. I only spend as much time as necessary on the specific points I make as to not transform my presentation into a tedious speech. This class has allowed me to take into account and convey information more accurately and precisely. I now am able to ensure that my presentations and replies enrich the discussions between myself and others. When I use examples, I ensure they enhance my discussion and are beneficial to the overall picture. My major downfall lied within my familiar encounters with stop signs. Throughout my presentations, I would find that my mind went completely blank. I could not remember what I had been saying, let alone formulate something even remotely relevant to say. I would begin to include irrelevant points that had absolutely nothing to do with anything in my presentation. My topic would shift entirely to another subject, and I was unable to successfully return to my original point. In the end, I would become sidetracked, seemingly completing another person's presentation over an opposing topic. I now have been able to formulate presentations and replies in which I absorb the information I intend to present to my classmates, resulting in a constant and steady stream of already established ideas. I no longer have to include irrelevant points, as the full time of my presentations consists of relevant information. I am able to focus on my topic and ultimately no longer am sidetracked and waste other people's time. My final grievances were a result of various obstacles. Whenever I would sit down to prepare a presentation, I would do so directly in front of the television. I would attempt to do research and formulate my points at the same time that I was watching my favorite TV series. More than half of the time I dedicated to my presentation went directly towards watching TV instead. When I would finally sit down without the company of my TV, I then found myself taking frequent breaks to check my phone. In the middle of an idea, my phone would vibrate. I would drop my pencil and therefore my idea to respond to a text. Apart from messages and phone calls, I would also leave what I was doing in order to spend time with family and friends. Whenever someone would ask if I wanted to do something or go somewhere, I would agree and leave my unfinished presentation behind. In the end, I now turn off the television and sit at a desk as opposed to the couch or my bed when I put together a reply. I put my phone on silent and place it in a drawer until I finish what I had set out to accomplish. I also inform friends and family that I am unable to put my presentations off until the last minute in order to ensure that my discussions serve to help my classmates understand my position as well as my acknowledgement of theirs. All in all, this course has helped me not only embrace presentations, but to also enjoy them. I strive to include only relevant information, and as a result, my presentations and replies have benefited. I now realize that where I put together my presentation is just as important as how. By focusing all of my time and attention towards my replies, I am able to remember all that I had intended to say, as well as how I intended to say it. I no longer talk slowly solely in an attempt to buy time, nor do I speak excessively fast. As Bob Grove states in The Art of Communication, never overpromise and underdeliver. I have learned to time my presentations according to the information I am going to give. Overall, the most influential thing this class has shown me over oral presentations is to embrace their benefits. Typed and written discussions and presentations are one-toned and one-dimensional. In Talk the Talk, T.J. Safner states, "The tone of your voice is more critical than the actual words you say." My classmates are now able to hear my genuine interest in their thoughts, as well as my desire to understand their standpoints. I am now able to use different tones to convey different levels of importance. I am also able to now use the pace and tone with which I speak to improve the overall success of my presentations. Prior to this class, I always dreaded the sight of the word oral presentation on my professor's syllabus. Through this class, I have gained valuable knowledge over constructing successful replies, and in turn, I have improved my overall social skills, which I will now be able to incorporate into my daily and professional life. I have successfully conquered a fear and am now willing to put in the effort required to succeed in other seemingly difficult academic endeavors. Works cited.